everyone. My name is Andreina Viera, and I am the founder and CEO of the Vieras. The Vieras is a business management firm that specializes in back office support. We have experts in human resources, accounting, marketing, executive assistants, and safety and environmental services. And with that said, I would like to introduce you to our Director of Safety and Environmental Services, Steve Aquilino, also known as Safety Steve. Thank you, Steve, for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
So I just want to ask you a few questions so that our viewers can get to know you better. How long have you been doing this safety compliance work?
For over 20 years for a variety of industries, from manufacturing to medical to retail. Just a good summation of all the industries in the United States.
Nice, nice. And why would you say businesses should care about safety compliance?
Well, it should be part of your core values. It's a center point that your employees and your customers will all notice if safety is lacking. And, from a liability standpoint and a personal standpoint, it can affect a lot of your business if there is something that occurs like an accident.
And with the whole safety and the COVID-19 reopening phases, what are some tips you have for business owners?
Well, I think some of the most compliant, I think some of the most important things that business owners, when they're reopening their businesses, should consider is focus on training their staff. Also, they should make sure that they have plentiful cleaning supplies and plentiful signage to communicate the rules. It's their employees and their customers. They're all going to be very visible to everyone that's looking, and they expect some type of guidance. And once they feel like your employees understand the rules and there are some visual protections, and you have the cleaning products, and they see all that, it will give them a level of comfort to patronize your business.
And also as a customer, if I see that everyone is covered up, they're using the right hand sanitizing procedures, and there's a lot of signage everywhere, I would feel more comfortable as well. So it's really all about the culture.
Absolutely.
Now, what can happen if a business fails to implement the right safety compliances in the workplace before? So what would happen if businesses fail to implement the right safety compliance before reopening?
Well, there's a lot of things, especially when it comes to COVID. If you fail or you stumble in your launch or reopening, it can affect a lot of things. I mean, obviously your employees, that can lose some morale there because they're not sure what's going on. Your customers will feel it through your employees if they're not sure what's going on. But also, just recently, the state of Massachusetts, for example, created a hotline, 211, for employees or customers or anyone to put out an anonymous tip that they don't believe that company is practicing the guidelines when it comes to COVID. So that's from the COVID standpoint, but all those things apply for just general safety, accidents, and having proper procedures as well. I mean, obviously the tip line is OSHA for those, but there is definitely consequences, and there's tools for people not satisfied with the level of protection to communicate to authorities.
Wow, that's good. And what are some mistakes you see business owners making while trying to comply with safety measures for reopening?
I think, like I said, is training your employees and making sure that they lead, that you lead by example and that your employees are following the practices all the time. Uh, they may just be so busy that they're not noticing that, but you got to really have time to really cultivate your team. And I think that will help because then there won't be comments on, people make comments, oh, I went to this store and they didn't seem to have anything under control.
Yeah, yeah. Employers should definitely prioritize safety for both the employees and the customers. Very important. What is the range of investment resources that business owners can expect to allocate for safety compliance when it comes to COVID-19?
Well, it varies depending on the site. People have spent thousands of dollars on COVID-19, but if you have like a small business, there's creative ways. It's always good to check the mass.gov COVID reopening plans. They have some good resources, some signage and whatnot. Also, companies for small businesses, the CDC has some good guidance that you can morph into cleaning plans and instructions. But it can, depending how big the site, when it comes to signage, training, it can grow. I mean, you can probably guess around, a cost of about $100 per employee.
Okay, that's a good way to looking at it. And if any business out there has any questions, they might have some fears, they just want to have an expert check what they've already done. Safety Steve does do audits. So just know that we're here to help. You can always email info@getaviera.com and we will definitely put you in touch with Safety Steve. Steve, what are 2 or 3 resources or websites? I know you mentioned one already, but what are others that people can go to and can get more information?
Well, like I said, the cdc.gov website is a great one for all about cleaning and understanding. It discusses everything from, why masks are important and how to clean properly. There's interesting stuff also on the EPA website. The EPA actually has a list of approved cleaning chemicals. And one of the interesting things about that most people don't realize when it comes to cleaning and cleaning up for COVID is that all chemicals have let me express it, a dwell time, how long they need to be on the surface. Some people think you just spray and wipe. No, everything actually needs to sit on the surface for a little bit before you wipe away. And you can look at this list that the EPA has, and it actually has in a column where it says, oh, you spray this and let it sit for 2 minutes. Some things take 10 minutes to sit to activate. Others take a minute. So it's just good to know that. So you have the EPA site. OSHA has some guidance for returning to work as well for employees. And there's also one of the best things, like I said, is the elements of the mass.gov site for the reopening.
Okay. That's amazing. I definitely did not know that. Usually when I clean my house, I just spray and wipe. I didn't know some chemicals needed to just sit there. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. Now, what is one thing you'd recommend business owners to do if they want to improve their safety compliance for the reopening and beyond?
One thing they can do.
One.
It's training their staff. It's the first impression when people walk through the door, when customers, visitors walk through the door, and make sure the staff has buy-in. So actually, the real one thing is not only train your staff, get your staff involved. Once they feel like they are involved in the process and they have some buy-in, make some suggestions and whatnot, you'll be amazed how well your program will go. because they're actively engaged in the program.
Yeah, that's great. And what are a couple of companies that you believe are doing a great job in this matter?
Well, when it comes to the reopening for COVID, it is a little bit too early to tell. But the companies in general that are doing great are companies that come out with a really good plan and train their employees, have active signage, and modify their plan as they go, as they learn. So it's not a static thing. We're learning more about the virus. There might be new rules out there. So there are some. I mean, I would think like thinking about the retailers that had to open essentially, that had essential business like Market Basket. They had their crews go around and put barriers at every checkout and everything within days of the serious nature of the outbreak. I mean, this was months ago. So they were, running around making sure that they had made their sites as compliant as possible, putting markers that on the floor, and they had to manage in the early years how they had to manage not so happy customers waiting to minimize occupancy in the building and waiting outside and all that. And I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think that one important thing to know is that as we continue to learn more, the guidance change, we're in a constant pivot mode where let's say we draft a reopening plan, but then there might be 2-3 weeks into the plan, there may be changes. So it's definitely a working document. We're in a working environment where are constantly changing. And I think that we all need to just be as open as possible and understand that to be flexible with our customers, our employees, but also if you're a customer, you need to understand that businesses are doing their best and be flexible in a certain way as well.
Also, one of the things I was thinking is that there are guidelines for specific industries as well. So the mass.gov has guidelines for specific, and CDC. So just check if you fall into one of those categories. They have ones for restaurants, to construction, to medical facilities, to schools. There's further detail you can dive into, not just general rules of learning how to clean.
Yeah. And I think about our own customers and how we have customers in different industries, and we've been helping them just reopen once they're open, stay compliant. So I thank you, Steve, for everything that you're doing. I thank you on behalf of all of the businesses that you're helping. You're doing an amazing job. If anyone wants to talk to Safety Steve any further, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at info@getaviera.com. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you.